Born and raised in Inglewood, California, to some amazing parents who bivocationally pastored a church for 15 years, the church that I gave my life to Jesus in. But that did not exempt me from pain and trauma. I was sexually abused by a teenage boy for over a 6-month period of time when I was 8 years old. We later found out he had abused all the young boys my age in the community.
Were you able to tell your parents about it, Tim, at that time? Or at what point do you deal with that?
Yes. So I was silent on it for 11 years. So the abuse happened at 8, and I did not bring it to my parents until I was 19. So 11 years of silence in that. A lot of pain, exposed to pornography at 12. That became my drug of choice, the way that I medicated that pain. Mm-hmm. Promiscuity at a late age, starting at 18. And but my mother actually caught me watching porn at 2:00 in the morning when I was 19 years old. And that night should have been like the most embarrassing night of my life, but it was the most freeing, mm-hmm. because that same night is when I told her what happened to me when I was 8. And my younger brother then confessed that he was abused by the same boy. Then my mom shared that when she was 6, she was abused by her babysitters. And then my dad shared that when he was 5, he was abused by the owner of a comic book store. Wow. And so in one night, what should have been shame and a lot of condemnation became freedom for the whole family, because my parents hadn't even told each other what had happened. And they had been married for several years. So it was like a 200-pound slab of concrete came off my chest. Wow. And I just made a decision from that day, like, I'm never going to hold a secret again as long as I live, like no matter how uncomfortable it makes other people feel. Mm-hmm. And that began my journey to freedom. 6 months later, I gave my life to Jesus. 5 weeks later, I preached my first sermon, and it's now 27 years later.
Wow.